Hey, 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 I do know the name and I do know the face. How are you doing, Kent?
Back on, bro.
Back where you belong, on your perch. You looking well?
Back on.
You looking well?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Thank you. I'm feeling good, Russell.
You put a bit of
Feeling
beef
good,
on?
bro. Yeah, I've put probably a stone on. I've been doing a lot of strength training, so
Man,
I'm feeling really good at the minute. Uh, I'm I'm probably from I've stopped running, it's probably 2.5 stone. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really strong. I'm
yeah, it's
in
easy
the gym
done.
and every day. I'm in the gym every day, Russell. So
Yeah, you're getting a
I'm
bit of
I'm feeling
size
good
on
at
you
the minute.
there, Kent. You're scaring me.
Yeah, I'm up to I'm probably up at late middleweight now. I'm just over 11 stone,
Uh,
so
I think I'm about
I'm
160, under
feeling
60 pound meal,
good.
161 or
Feeling good.
something. So yeah, well, I don't really know where to start, but Tyson
It's
Fury
good.
retirement.
It's a steady weight. It's a steady weight. I
Tyson,
just don't want to go over. I don't want to go keeping over the same old ground with Tyson
I know.
Fury. That I have, but I just think what I'm going to say about it is he doesn't really have anywhere else to go.
No.
You know, he in his mind, in his mind, he won that fight. In his mind that they screwed him. So there's a trust process there. I can't see him coming back. I don't think there's anything for him to come back for. I think he dislikes Anthony Joshua that much. He would come back just to line his pockets. And with the money that he's been getting the last couple of years, he doesn't need to come back. And AJ as well. AJ, for years they say, oh, they're coming back for one big last payday. But when you've had the paydays that they've had for a considerable long period of time, you don't need to come back for one more payday. It just doesn't make sense. It's not worth, a 12-week camp. It's not worth the build up. It's not worth the stress. It's just not worth it for either of them. People were talking about Fury and AJ. It's not worth it. I wouldn't watch it. I think it's a worth a sight. It's all right watching fights that have a purpose. The purpose is after the fight, where will each fighter go? Each fighter doesn't really have a purpose after that fight.
Yeah. Well, when I look at the situation, I think Barry McGuigan nailed it. He said, look, Joshua's had over 200 million out at job. Eddie's had 60 million out at job. Just off him alone. Why don't they just jog on? But they just keep going back for that more, more, and more money. I mean, Joshua, his punch resistance has well gone. Forget what he looks like aesthetically, because if we're going to go on like that, Michael Grant looked the same as him, didn't he? Do you remember him, Michael Grant, who fought Lennox?
Michael Grant. Michael Grant was the golden child. He was the prophecy in the late 90s. He was actually about 6'9". He was enormous, and Lennox just pulverized him. It looked like he had never been in a, and he was still fighting there until I think pre-COVID. I remember Dillian Whyte was there was talk of Dillian Whyte actually fighting Michael Grant at one stage in America. But at that time, there was a lot of really good heavyweights around in the 90s. Ike Abuse was a fantastic fighter. He's actually coming back. He's out of jail. But to come back to Michael Grant, or like you look at that fight he had against Lennox, he couldn't fight on the inside. He couldn't fight at the mid range. He looked like $1 million. He was the Lee Majors of heavyweight boxing at that time. He was the $6 million man. He was all there. But as you say, you can't put muscles on your chin.
No.
You can either take a punch or you can't. And yes, AJ looks great now on all these training videos and doing all this fancy training and looking ripped and aesthetically that doesn't really mean anything. So it doesn't, it doesn't mean jack shit when you get hit on the chin and your legs can't take the force of the it's over. He just can't take a shot. Who right now in the top 20 would you put AJ in with and be confident that he could beat them
None.
with his punch resistance? None. I mean none.
It's that bad, but
None.
people keep going on about what he's done and who he's beaten that. Well, let's just break it down. Your Pulevs, your Povetkins, and Vladimir's, all old men. All old men. He's been in with a young lion, and look what's happened. You know,
That was a demolition job. How can you come back from that? You can't. There's two ways you come back from it. You come back and you meet it head on, and it's going to be the same outcome. Then you retire, or you come back from it and you do like a massive swerve, like a U-turn, and go the other way. You get even less credibility. It just really hurts your career. I think it would be better for his career if he just retired. He would come away with it with more credibility.
you seriously think, Kent, that lot at Essex are going to let him retire when he's signed a lifetime deal? They're going to be wheeling him out until he's talking like the lazy rhino.
It's different now, Russell. They don't promote him now. They don't promote AJ now. Saudi promote AJ now. Saudi get the money of AJ. Matchroom will get a small percentage, but when you're talking about the Essex boys, I'm not talking about the Essex boys, I'm talking about that lot. They don't get a massive. They'll not get a massive percentage out of AJ the way they did. So I'm not so sure.
He looks dug up, doesn't he, Joshua? Doesn't he? I mean, if Joshua's that good, right, why does he need a rematch clause every fight? And every time he gets beat, he activates that rematch. They've not activated this one, though, have they?
How could they?
I know.
How could they?
I know. How could they exactly? Because he got pinged about, didn't
He got smashed to pieces.
he? Yeah. Absolutely wrote off. And what do you think about this Joshua Bacoli rumble in the jungle and all that? Well, why are they trying to copy
That's
Ali?
crap, Russell. That's crap, Russell. You look at the corruption that is in government in Africa. You look how is that going to happen? How is that going to happen? That's nonsense. That is an absolute pipe dream. That's not happening. There's no way that's like how could they go over there, right? So they're going to go into Africa, stage a multi-million-pound event in there, take all the money, and just walk out of Africa and think, oh yeah, we've made a fortune of this. Nah, it's not. Doesn't work like that. That's going into a completely different territory, different continent. It's like a different world. There's no way that they're just going to swan in there and just walk out with millions and millions of dollars or millions of pounds or whatever and think, oh, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay here. It doesn't work like that. That's complete nonsense.
Yeah, I agree with you. Do you rate Bacoli?
Yeah, I've always rated him. Always rated him. I think you look at the Michael Hunter fight. He went into that fight with a shoulder injury, and he couldn't pull out because McGuigan was promoting him at the time and managing him. I don't know if he was managing him, but he was promoting him because it was on a Channel 5 Cyclone promotion show, and there was a lot of talk about him. A lot of talk about him, and I've been really impressed by him. I think it's great now that he's finally getting the kudos that he deserves. He can really fight. Big Martin can really fight, and it tells you that if you can really fight that good, no one's going to fight you. No one's going to want to fight you. And look what he done to Jared Anderson. he basically used Gerard Anderson as a heavy bag.
He'd do that to Big Meech, wouldn't he?
I would actually think he would punch a hole in him. Honestly,
Yeah, I think you would, Kent, with size of your shoulders.
well,
Looking well, mate. You're looking
yeah. Thank you, thank you.
well, mate. No problem. Uh, Dylan Whyte, what's happened here, Ken? He looks like he's
I,
in the wilderness, doesn't he?
I think that the way, I think probably the only safe bet for AJ is to find a way to fight possibly Wilder. Again, Wilder looks like, I think Deontay Wilder, I know he's got a brother who boxes and who is worse than him. He is bloody awful. I think Deontay Wilder's got a twin brother, and I think that twin brother is in the ring at the minute because this Deontay Wilder does not look like the same person. Like this guy who is impersonating Deontay Wilder right now looks like he's never been in a boxing ring in his life. That's how shot Deontay Wilder is. Like, and I mean shot. I think you've got AJ against him. Then you've got another fighter who's even more shot born is Dillian Whyte. And there's two fights there. Like, I think Dillian Whyte is just sitting back and he's just waiting for the Joshua Saudi money. That's all he's doing.
Yeah.
That's all there is there for him. What is there? What else is there for him?
Yeah. Do you think Dylan White was serving asylum in UK?
Of course he was. Well, why was he out for so long? Why was he not fighting in a British boxing border control jurisdiction? Why did he go to the Republic of Ireland?
Yeah. What about Lee Wood?
Where is he? Like, where is Lee Wood?
World champion and they're not defending the belts. What's going on, Kent?
Sales coach loads. I have a friend who actually buys tickets off him, and there's coach loads of buses coming down from. I think that last fight there was 12 coach loads of supporters coming down to watch him. That's big ticket sales. So you're probably one of the biggest ticket sellers in British boxing outside of heavyweight division. You're a world champion, and you just disappear. Where is he? Answers in the postcard. Where is he?
Nobody's nobody mentions it though, do they? In media, do they? What's happening with Lee Wood, Eddie?
Where is he? You know, at that stage of his career, he's on a honeymoon period of, you know, he's in that. It's like an Indian summer of his career where he's actually earning a lot of money, selling out arenas, world champion, fan base is huge. Then you just disappear. Doesn't add up. Well, it does add up, but that's an entirely different question.
Nobody wants to talk about Lee Wood, do they? Or Dylan White or Crusher, Ben. Nobody wants to probe, do they? Do they?
Everybody knows, but they don't want. They're afraid to talk about it. So they are. I think this whole thing now with the silent bans is just disgraceful. It really is bad for boxing.
Yeah.
Are you surprised? But
not really. I'm not really surprised at all. I mean, look at that one with Liam Cameron. I'm not blaming anybody, but when it came out that Liam had an adverse finding for cocaine after the Sheedy fight, and that got buried. It got buried, and then it came out after the Gemman fight, and then when Dennis were going to back him, and then Dennis said, and then once he found out about the Sheedy fight, I think Dennis just went, no, he wants straight with me. So the promoters or that they don't always get to find out this. So are the fighters at fault? I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? I know Liam's were recreational, But these
It,
others
it's
is
it's not really it's not really because as an athlete, you're told you need to watch what you put in your body. You know, you look at supplements you buy over the counter, they need to be batch tested. Some athletes that I know who have competed at a really high level would have never took even a tub of protein. You know what's going into your body. You know, like the stuff that's out there now that elite athletes are taking. It's a science to taking this stuff. It's not like I just open the cupboard and take a couple of pills. Oh, flip! I thought that was why is it in your body? How did it get there?
yeah,
You need to take responsibility for yourself and your body. See this whole thing that I had this coach or I had this doctor, he gave me this. It's your fault. You're putting it into your body. So putting the blame and passing the buck on to someone else, it's strict liability. If you ask it's strict liability. If you ask me, if it's in your system, you fail the test.
yeah. And how do you?
No excuse.
Yeah, I agree, mate. How do you see the trainers' roles in all these with these drug testing and that? Do you think they should be penalised as well, Ken?
Yeah, I think if a fighter, I think there should be. I think it's like if a fighter gets knocked out, okay, they serve a 28-day ban depending on the severity of the knockout by the board. Why not, if a fighter fails a test and is stable, it puts more onus on the coaches to actually say, right, you need to be really careful here what you're doing. You need to be really careful who's coaching you outside of me because they're going to be accountable as well for it. I think it has to be that way, and that means that will put more accountability onto coaches actually taking control of their fighters. Now, I'm not saying coaches and boxing coaches, because boxing coaches, 99.9% of them aren't, informed in the science of drugs. They're boxing coaches. That's primarily what they are.
Yeah.
So if you're bringing in other people outside of your boxing coach, that is going to put more onus on the actual coaches to say, you know what, you're not working with him. You're not doing this, you're not doing that. I think the coaches need to be stronger with the fighters, but I think fighters now basically call the shots. But I put more onus on fighters that if there is a field test, there should be something like a 3 month suspension on coaches working with licensed fighters.
I mean, I look at it like this, right? Look at Flex. He's had free fail on his watch, and I think he's basically hung himself now as a trainer. Do you? Where's he heading now, Flex? Who's going there to be trained by him? Unless he can dig Kell Brook up or Kid Galahad. Where's he heading?
I think it's just been years of focusing on your earners, particularly affected young fighters coming through and wanting to go to him, because basically all the time was going to Galahad and Kell Brook, where you need to actually say, come to a stage where, as a coach, you're saying, well, I need to bring the next phase of fighters in, where I need to be putting more time into these younger fighters, new fighters coming into the gym, putting more time into them, developing them, where all he was doing was sitting back waiting on a big payout for Kell Brook and Kid Galahad.
Yeah. Do you think
You know,
they'll be dug up again?
I think the time's now passed for Kell. I think if Kell was going to do it, would have been last year. I think, or the year before with the Eubank fight. I think it's been and gone. I don't think that I don't think he would get the following that he had. Like that Amir Khan fight was 2 years ago, so it's well gone that they. There's a saying in business, and you strike where the iron's hot. 6 months later, they should have been in trying to get knock off Nigel's son or Chris Eubank. That would have been a huge fight, and both fights he would have had a chance in both of those fights. He would have, and I think the time is now been and gone.
Yeah.
It's gone, been and gone.
Shame, innit?
Well,
Kent, it were 3 year
it,
ago, Amir Khan, Kell Brook. This month, 3 years.
wow, wow. That's well. He's out 3 years, and how long was he out before that? Like, how
2.
could he even get licensed? Nah. So that's one fight in 5 years. No chance. No chance.
No, it's a shame. Kell Brook's made his dough. He's set up for life. I don't want to see him dug up. I don't want to see Galahad dug up. I mean, let's have it right. Galahad, very good technician, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a very good boxer, but I remember him doing an interview saying that he used to break into people's houses. So when you're that type of scumbag, I don't care how good a technician you were or how good a fighter you were. I don't want to see anybody like that.
Yeah, yeah. He's not. He didn't cover himself in glory coming out with that, did he, Kent?
Nice. I done a somersault when Kiko Martinez knocked him out. Honestly, I was never so happy in all my life. It was brilliant, brilliant.
Mm. Uh, is Huey being froze out? Do you think?
I don't think he's been frozen out. I just think he's been out a long time, and new fighters have come through, and he was in he, he was in kind of in no man's land before that because he wasn't really with promoter. He was kind of with Mick. He was kind of on Sky. He was kind of on DAZN. There was nothing concrete there for him, and I think it's all down to momentum. I think he just lost momentum at the wrong time, and it's going to take a bit of time
Yeah,
before he gets momentum back. And that's no disrespect to him. I think the best thing that they do with him is just get him really fit, get him ready, and take a big fight. Kubrat Pulev's got the WBA regular belt. Why not go for that? Why not pack your bags and go and take that as an away fighter, as a gamble? He's already fought him before. He has a loss to him in the European title fight. But the cut, really bad cut early on in his career. Why not just take a fight like that on the road as a gamble, and you come away with it with the title, and you're back in the mix?
yeah. It's
If he's fighting at domestic level right now, he's going to stay there. He needs to. He needs to take a risk. It needs to be a calculated risk because at this stage of his career, he can't be waiting for fights or big fights. He needs to go and as I say, take a calculated risk and take the bull by the horns.
would you like to see him in with somebody who's in top 5?
I don't think he's ready for that, but I think something like a Kubrat Pulev fight would be ideal for him.
What rematch?
Yeah. Well, Kubrat Pulev's got the WBA regular, so why not?
Yeah, yeah. I just think Huey's career. It's I don't know since he's just not had any luck, has he?
He got sick and he lost the momentum, and Sky aren't really great at promoting fighters,
No.
but boxer are dreadful. So they are. They're absolutely dreadful.
What do you think to Spencer Oliver trying to get Amir Khan to make a comeback? Oh, don't forget Spencer's supposed to be dead against drug cheats, isn't he?
Well, he failed the drug test, didn't he? So how can he come back?
You know, well, Amir Khan failed it after.
That's Spencer Oliver just kissing his arse.
Well, it was 3 years ago when he fought Kell Brook, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I think who wants to see Amir Khan come back? Like that's just utter nonsense. Not unless he comes back and fights Jake Paul or something like that in one of those stupid fights. But I can't see him coming back into anything credible. Even when Amir Khan was at his best, he was still getting chinned. What's he going to do now?
I don't know. Crazy, isn't it? I mean, Amir Khan, right? What his punch resistance has obviously gone on it, right? And he obviously can't get down to fight a light welter when he were blisteringly fast. I always felt that once he went by light welter, they were never the same fighter. Me, do you agree, Ken?
I agree. I agree that aesthetically, Amir Khan looked sensational, looked real athlete, real athletic prowess. But his punch resistance, he always struggled with his punch resistance. You seen in his last amateur fight, he was near poleaxed. He was dropped heavily by the lad from Manchester. Who was that? The young lad Hall from Manchester dropped him heavily.
Michael Gomez.
No, and it's one of his last amateur fights. But Michael Gomez come up and dropped him.
What it Fitzy?
No, no, it wasn't.
It'll come to me. It'll come to me. It's that long ago. But yeah, he did have. He's had problems with his chin all the way through his career, a bit like Big Truck.
It's like I remember Freddie Roach. I think going to the wild card was probably the worst thing he could have done. Was go to the wild card and just be exposed to big punchers every day in sparring, heavy sparring every day. That's what happens in the wild card. There's no easy days in the wild card. Freddie Roach isn't gonna stand doing technical drills. Let's get in the ring and spar really, really hard and get your conditioning through sparring. Where I don't think that really suits some fighters. Some fighters it does. Like Roberto Duran would have went into the gym and done 20 rounds of sparring. Most days that build up his endurance and get himself fit. And his defense was so good that he probably took about 20 punches and all them 20 rounds each day. So it wouldn't have really had a cumulative effect on him. But with Amir Khan, I don't think he was ever the same after he came back from the wild card. I think he took way too much punishment in there. Plus, he was sparring a Pac-Man, peak Pac-Man at the time. That's the peak Pac-Man that turned Ricky Hatton's lights out. Stopped Miguel Cotto, who was just a wrecking machine at the time. You're sparring with that every day. It's going to have an effect on your career at some stage.
You think?
Absolutely. Getting hit like that every day. Be like getting hit by a truck.
Do you think Amir's a bit punchy when he talks?
I don't know. I don't really listen to him much now. He failed the drug test, so I don't want to listen to him.
Go on, Ken. Going in hard on Amir Khan.
No, why should I?
Well, it was a long time ago, wasn't it? But they all come back because they want that. They want that Saudi bunts, don't they?
I think he's just way past it, Russell. He was past. Amir Khan was past it 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Never mind 3 years ago. So no, there's no way that Saudi want to do. I think they want to put on the best possible fights at the best possible time. They want credibility. They want to gain credibility. That's why they're putting on these fights and bringing back fighters like Kell, Brook, and Amir Khan isn't going to bring them any credibility. Now, putting on fights that they're out of weight divisions, I don't like. But I think they're trying their best for their own brand, and bringing back retired fighters is just, it's kind of not, it's not what their brand is about.
Yeah. Do you think that, what's he called? Turkey Al Sheikh. Do you think he'll bring Khan back?
No, who's he going to fight?
I don't know.
He gets smashed. He gets smashed in one round.
I know. I know. But they get paid, don't they?
I don't think that's ever going to happen. To be fair, I think that's just Spencer Oliver just kissing his arse.
Yeah.
Nah, it's just Spencer Oliver having nothing to talk about and just kissing his arse. That's all that is. That's just crap talk.
Well, speaking of Spencer Oliver, he's not exactly covered himself in glory. He seems to be like a cheerleader, doesn't he, for certain people, like Anthony Joshua. He was cheerleading Amir Khan other day, and I don't know what is his role at Talksport if he's not got his tongue up people's arseholes.
I just think he's there just because he had a boxing career. I don't think he's there because he actually has a. I think he's there because anybody that's really good will be either on BT, Sky, or DAZN, and he's left on the outside of that, picking up whatever scraps he can get.
Yeah, I just think that it's all a bit forced. I mean, did you see the interviews that he does this regular thing with Simon Jordan, and it's just like going into bat for his
Crap.
mates. He's not telling it straight, is he?
I watched 2 episodes of it, and it was the same conversation. It was boring. Simon Jordan's sitting there like he's some sort of box. Simon Jordan's never been in a fight in his life. Outside of big, Simon Jordan goes and talks about he's this big boxing fan. All like Simon Jordan's just one of these people that wants to be seen at ringside at box office events. I've never actually seen him at a non-televised or small show or next gen show. He's just there to be seen as one of these guys that sit at ringside. A bit like Gordon Ramsay used to be back in the day when he used to sit at ringside
Yeah.
next to Ricky Hatton's dad. That's not a boxing fan. I just think Simon Jordan uses things to keep himself credible. Now, at the minute, he's doing lots of stuff on darts. What does Simon Jordan know about darts? Now he's becoming a darts expert. I think he just moves with the tide. He just goes with the tide, and whatever's popular, whatever's trending, he'll go with it.
Yeah. So I just don't think that Simon Jordan, right, is doing boxing a good service like obviously we all thought he were going to do because he made a bit of noise at first. Well, Eddie's ran rings around him in their interviews, hasn't he? Really?
He smashed him every time, and he's made Simon Jordan look stupid. So he has. The thing about me, uh, uh, for years he kissed Fury's arse. He was up his backside. Then all of a sudden, he's turned completely rogue on Fury. You know, I just don't get that. I think he just moves and changes. Now all of a sudden, you know, recently there he was against Conor Ben for 2 years, and now that Conor's the best thing since sliced bread. I no, I don't like that. I couldn't trust somebody like that. If that was outside of, if that was somebody who was in my company quite a lot, I wouldn't be trusting someone like that.
Yeah, I won. Do you want to part two, mate?
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Please join us on part two. Pop, pop, bang. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Booyaka.